Welcome back to my channel, everybody. So today my goal is to get some arrowheads made. I have some jewelry that I want to be making soon, and I need some arrowheads for some pendants. So I'm really working on some dacite right now, trying to see if I can get a nice piece. And I probably most likely will also have a video of me making some jewelry. So I do have a fan on also. I usually have this little portable fan blowing the dust away from me. It's pretty good. Usually lasts about 6 hours or so. Alright, so let's look at this. So we have a nice piece of dacite here. I'm just trying to find some natural curves, some low spots that I can hit into. This is a nice little piece. I'm gonna really worry about my angles here. See, already caused a step. That's an experience. I haven't napped in a couple of days. Try to bring the center line up. So what I'm doing here is I'm bringing the center line up so that way it'll flake a little bit better. Big nasty step. So I didn't want to go over that. So I thought the curve here was good enough to run flakes, but apparently not. I'm trying to become less and less reliant on indirect percussion, so I can learn how to, use direct percussion a little bit better. A lot better. So like I said, I am making an arrowhead, so I'm going to really concentrate on getting some of this cortex off. So if you want to corner something out like this out, see how it's square? From my experience that I found is hitting the lower end every time. So here you can see the low end is here, so if I knock this off, or let's go this way, knock that corner off, and I might still be able to hit it. There we go. So that was a natural crack in the stone right there, you could tell. But overall, we actually wanted that off, so that's not bad. So I'm a little rusty, like I said. It's been about actually I would say at least 3 or 4 days since I've napped. So I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. Ran some good little flakes there. So we'll take a look. I know I'm moving kind of fast, or at least faster than normal. I'll try to explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So my goal is to thin out the ends and clean up this center line first. So kind of shaping it, little choppy flakes. It kind of brings the center line up. So I created this step right in here. It's pretty nasty. So I'm gonna have to raise this up, and then I'm going to try to knock a lot of that off. So I'll show you what I mean. Make sure you abrade really well. I found that abrading has helped me out so much. So right here. So if you can see here, there's a little low spot, and I'm hoping that it comes right in behind this and knocks a lot of that off. So that was my goal. It was a big overshot. It did thin it out, but we'll see it. We'll see if that was a big mess up or mistake. That was a really big overshot. Well, at least I know I'm getting more accurate because I hit that exactly where I wanted it. So I'm just going to raise this up slightly to try to knock off some of this. So I'm going to run some flakes along this area on all these little low points and try to clean up some of my mess. That was pretty good. Same thing here. So if you could tell, this is definitely on the low end. So I'm going to knock off some of this. So I just raised up this whole side to try to run a lot of this cortex off. Nice little flakes. There we go. So we're starting to get a point. It's starting to clean up pretty good. I'm just trying to get a nice arrowhead shape. I plan on making a pendant. And honestly, you know, I could probably switch over to indirect already, but like I said, I'm trying to avoid it a little bit longer. Trying to get a little bit better with direct percussion. It's just a personal choice. I want to become slightly better. It's a big knot in here. I could probably get it off. Like I said, indirect for sure. But we're gonna see if we can work it a little bit. Let's see if I can get some of that off. All right, it might be time for me to go over to indirect. I thinned it out real quick. So here we go, let's check it out. Thinned it out fairly quickly. Got some, maybe one major issue really in the stone. That's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and move over to indirect. So one of the most important things for me to do is on camera is to just be comfortable and understand that I'm going to make mistakes, but try not to, you know, make too many. So I just ran some thinning flakes right there. I think I can get behind this big step right now. Took it off. Now I kind of want to be real careful because I just got rid of that step. And that was really one of the last big issues with this stone, was that step that I just got off. So I'm going to kind of take it easy, clean it up, run some thinning flakes. I'm really liking how this is looking so far. Got a possible step right here that I created. Not too bad. So sometimes I just run flakes just to kind of fix my center line also. So we're worried about the center line in addition to worrying about running thinner flakes. Now I don't want this to be too thin because I do want it to be a nice sturdy arrowhead for a nice necklace. So if you guys can see this here, it's pretty straight here. So I think that I need to raise this up this way to be able to take some of this off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go along this whole side and just take off some little choppy flakes. I'm pretty parallel, so that means I'm straight. I'm not tilted up or down. It's pretty parallel. Just try to take these little choppy ones off. It's going to raise up the center line for sure. I really do appreciate everybody for supporting my channel, checking out my videos. Like I said, I am a new flint knapper, so I'm just showing you guys the journey that I'm going through, and it has been fun. I'm really enjoying it. And some of the time off that I took the last few days is also because my hands need to rest somewhat. Just because flint knapping is, you know, I am new, so it takes some time for my hands to adjust to the overall knapping. So we're getting pretty thin. You guys can see this. I'm liking it so far. Took off a lot of that. So right here is a low spot that I could hit. It's a little bit bulbous here. So right here, low spot, bulbous. I'm gonna hit towards it. I'm actually gonna tilt up slightly to run that flake off. So here, that was in there. Let's run it off. It doesn't always work out that easily, that nicely. All right, really concerned about the shape. Running some flakes pretty soon. I'm liking this side a lot. This side needs some work. I don't think I'm ready to run flakes the other way. I'm still raising it. Doing it with indirect is takes a lot longer to raise your platform to run flakes on this side, because if I had a bop or a direct percussion, I can knock off this real quick. But like I said, I'm more comfortable right now with indirect, so I'm going to use it. So my flakes are meeting in the middle, and this little area I'm going to try to meet it on the back side. So to get them to meet in the middle, you're kind of using them like a medium like hit. It's not like a full-on hit. And I will start to address this backside soon. I'm just trying to see how much I could get away with right now on keeping my length. So let's take a look at the little flake run. You guys can see that right in here. I did a little flake run through it, raised it up slightly. We're almost there. I think I need to go another pass, and then we'll be able to take off some of this smoother side. So I'm gonna, every time there's a low spot, I'm gonna just go through and hit on that. I don't want it to get too crunchy, so I got to be careful. All right, I think we're pretty much ready to go. Let's work on this other side. So I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to run some little choppy ones at first, just to run down it. I'm actually tilted in slightly, so if you can see, I'm running these little flakes. I'm actually tilted in. And what it's doing, it's knocking off that flat end. Now I know this tip is going to have to come off, at least somewhat. Super delicate around the tip of this. I'm really barely even taking off any material. You guys can see that right there. I'm always worried about center line as I'm napping. I'm always trying to bring it back in to center, raising it, lowering it. It's always good just to sit here too. You know, don't ever feel like you're in a rush. You know, sit here, study your rock, trying to figure out what's your next best, like, hit, the next best area for you to run a flake. Like right here, it's a little ridge, low spot. I could probably run a little tiny one, brace it from the other side. Nice little flake. So it's noticing your little ridges and taking advantage of them. All right. I think we're pretty good. Even though this is misshapen, I usually leave it there because I like to run like flakes, and I find that for me personally, the wider I leave it, I can run flakes going the other way. It helps me thin out certain areas if I need it. So I'm pretty happy with this so far. I think I'm going to move over to pressure flaking, see if I can clean this up. Let's take a look at it. It is thinning out pretty nicely. So I think we are, let's see, focus. So I think it's time to pressure flake. And let's clean this up, see if we can get a nice little point for a piece of jewelry. Alright, so my next step is that I'm going to be trying something a little different. I'm going to actually clean up this center line on my little leather pad here. Try to center it off. And then once I do that, I might start to do a little flake run. Yeah, let's center it off, and then we'll do a little flake run. So here we go. We're going to try to clean this up. This side looks pretty good. This side needs some work. So let's definitely get our trusty pressure flaker. So this is like an ishi stick, right? I use it as a pressure flaker. It's really good for my wrists, to let it go up and down my whole wrist. And I am running some flakes. It's just off here. There's just enough space. There's just enough space here to run some flakes while cleaning it up. Alright, let's readjust this camera for you guys. There we go. So I'm picking low ends, low spots, like right in here. Straighten it out. I do know that the tip of it is too pointy right now, and which makes it a little more fragile, so I'm definitely going to work that out. So for a piece of jewelry, I actually don't want to have this arrowhead too sharp. So I'm going to take off a lot of this point. While shaping it. There we go. So I'm trying to center this. This side's coming together pretty nicely. So this is what I do when I'm trying to pressure flake. I'm pushing in slightly, and I'm on top, and I'm pushing down and then in to run a little flake. Down then in. That's what I'm doing. I'm sure there's other ways to do it. It also helps if your piece is braided nicely. So let's go here. Down then in. And you have to look at your stone too and be like, okay, I think this one needs to be ran. I think this one needs to be like a choppy flake. So you have to kind of pick and choose on what you think that particular platform needs. At least from my limited experience so far. So this little area was giving me an issue. So I went left of it, I went right of it, and then I finally got it. Same thing with this. So this might be an issue. So let's take a little off the right, little off the left, and then we could turn it and take off the rest of that. So let's look at it so far. There's our flake, turned to arrowhead almost, at least a point. Overall, it's not looking too bad. I'll definitely address all this, so we'll probably take off quite a bit of it here, but we'll do that in time. So I like to braid across it, with it, across it, with it. When I go across it, I use a little corner, lightly. So I might need to worry about cleaning it up now. So I'm taking a different pressure flaking pad. I'm really worried about the look. I want it to look as nice as possible. So that center line needs to be on point. That was a good little flake. Good flake. You guys can see I'm popping off sometimes. So there's a nice little, small little platform right in here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Right in here. So I'm gonna push just on top of it, and then I'm pushing in and down. Kind of ran it off. So right on top of it, in and down. Having a sharp tool is also very important. So I'm close to having to sharpen this for some of the more detailed work. So once your center line cleans up, now I'm just taking small little choppy flakes to further clean it up. Some areas just need a choppy flake. All right. So if you could look at it, there's an area in here that needs to be knocked off somewhat. So we're gonna braid it, we're gonna clean it up a little bit. That line's coming out pretty nice. That's looking really nice and centered. It's this side that needs the work. So let's refocus on this side, clean it up, make it look as nice as the other side. We're gonna need to run some flakes. So right here, you can see closely right here, it's low, and we need to remove this. So we're gonna actually try to run a nice flake here. Push in and then down. That seemed to work pretty good. Say here, we need to run a little medium flake, just like that. They don't always have to be big. They don't always have to be crazy running, like the flakes running crazy long. That tip's looking better. I'm trying to clean that up too as we go. There is a step here. It's not too overly concerning to me. Overall, like, it doesn't look that horrible. We could try to take it off with a, let's try a steel pressure flaker. Let's see if we can just get under it. Alright, so we're going to sharpen this tool up to a point, and we're going to see if we can get underneath that little area. So if you guys can see this right here, right in there, it's pretty thin. Now I'm going to take that little step fracture and I'm going to try to get under it. We're getting a little bit of it. I know it's hard to see. I was able to get some of it off. So a lot of pressure, a lot of cleaning up on the tool. We took off some of it there. There's a little ridge right here I think I can get. Little ridge. Got it. There we go. Right there, look at, we knocked it off. It looks beautiful now. Sometimes sharpening your tool and just kind of getting in there works. There's another one. So look at that. We cleaned up this whole area. Now these little things, I mean, they just come off. They look kind of feathery, kind of. There we go. That was the last of the mistakes that I made. This too could come off. So I'll resharpen this tool and try to hit some of these little areas. But overall, this piece is pretty close. A braid, run some cleanup flakes, center line, really clean up the center line. So I'm gonna really work on the center line. At this point, I switch back to my leather pad. And now, I like using the steel also sometimes. So we're just gonna really clean up this whole center line. Little flakes. If you need to turn it, turn it. Sorry about that. So if you need to turn it, you turn it until the center line looks where you want it. Certain areas are low. Now what I'm going to do different is that if I can get this center line going where I want it, the thing that I'm going to do is I want it to have these nice flake scars. Is that my goal is to have a series of flakes, run a series of flakes down the piece. Just to be aesthetically pleasing. Side's looking good. This side didn't have as many issues, but we'll still clean it up. We're still looking to clean this up pretty nicely. So learning the Flint Knap has been one of the good, it's been really good right now. It's something that I look forward to on a daily when I can get a chance. If I can get a couple hours a day to practice, you know, call that a really good day, you know. So if you've seen any progress, I'm still struggling, but the progress that I've made, I usually will, if I can get a couple hours, like I said, you get a couple hours a day to mess with some stone, you know, it will help. One of the other things I do notice too is that, you know, challenge yourself. Like, don't be afraid to make some mistakes too. So I've done overshots on purpose. I've done a lot of things on purpose just to try to learn on what the limitations of certain stone is. You know, trying to run a flake when you're not supposed to run a flake, just to see what happens. Like, that experience is invaluable. And I know you guys, I do thank you guys for watching my channel. There's so many other good flint knappers out there. Check them out. They're doing some good stuff. Really highly experienced. Been doing this for decades. I'm just a newbie. This still seems to work pretty nicely. I've been flaking with it quite a bit. I happen to like it. So like I said, this is supposed to be a piece of jewelry, so I'm not going to go too sharp. Clean it up, center it out, work on the back, hopefully try to notch it. We're getting there, getting closer. Center line's looking good. Surface is looking good. That's cleaning up. So we're getting close. I guess I should start working on this back end. Let me try to figure out what kind of point I'm going to make. Okay, so what I'm going to be selecting, I believe, is, which I know would make a nice piece of jewelry, are these northern side notched arrowheads. So there's one here, here. The shape kind of is pointy. Some of it's kind of round, then comes in, just like this one. Just like this one. And so we're working with this. So I think we're going to try I kind of like this one. It's a little too thin here for a piece of jewelry. Come to a point. I think we're just going to go for this piece right here. So that's going to be our inspiration. Let's go ahead and give it a go. So I know the cleanup usually takes a while, and I do thank everybody for sticking around and watching my videos. You know, it might seem tedious to watch it sometimes, or even to do it, to make a point, but I'm finding that I really enjoy it. It's relaxing to me. I'm sure it can be frustrating, because when things are not going right, it does get frustrating. I can't lie about that one. But overall, it's something that I really wanted to learn. I really wanted to learn how to make arrowheads and to flint knap. I have some really cool videos coming up. I'm going to have another knife making video. This one's going to be a little bit more detailed. Knife, I believe I'm going to do some inlay. I'm going to be doing some design work on the outside. It is going to be a point that I did make on my channel. I was working some keel cook. Got a nice little blade out of it. So I will, you guys could look out for that video. It should be coming pretty soon. I do plan on doing videos every Friday and Saturday. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and in the meantime, I most likely will try to make up for the videos that I didn't do, and come out with some new content. Maybe add in an extra video on one of the weeks. I am an artist. Like I do ceramics, I do paintings, I do graphic design. So flint knapping is not the only thing that I do, but right now it's what has my attention. I absolutely love it. I love it actually because it's so hard. It challenges my mind a little bit, which I like. So when I'm cleaning up the center line, my whole thinking is, when I have a low spot, at this point when there's a low spot, I am trying to center it out and bring it up to where it needs to be. Same thing with this. And if I need to take off a flake, I take it off. If I need to run a flake, then I'll try to run a flake. Just like that. Alright. So I need to run a flake here, but it needs to be abraded. Looking pretty good. I won't leave it as pointy or as sharp. Like after I'm done, I will be doing that. I'll grind down the sides because it is going to be a piece of jewelry. I don't want anybody cutting themselves. Alright, I'm getting pretty happy with my center line. So what I'm going to do is work on this back end. So we're doing a northern side notch, so it has to be straight in the back. So we're going to try to lose some of this. So I'm just going to be working on this back end. I'm just going to rotate it. Kind of applying pressure here only. Just doing some choppy flakes. So just choppy flakes, trying to knock some of that off. Turn it over. And I am worried about the center line also eventually. Turn it over. Just do the same thing until it's squared off. You can see that's coming together pretty nicely. It'd be nice to keep some of this arch, but I know I'm going to have to take it off. If you haven't already, you want to take this moment, please like, please subscribe, comment. I like the comments. I do read the comments, good or bad. I know mostly everybody's just trying to help, help me improve, which is good. I do appreciate it. Been a lot of positive comments from the Flint Knapping community. I'm okay if you guys point out mistakes. I am new and I'm just learning also, so sometimes those comments and those suggestions do work out for me and have helped me improve. I have had viewers comment about specific things that they think I'm doing wrong, and they're right. Once I fix those, I seen a kind of a good change in my flint knapping. So now I think I do need to run some flakes to thin this out as I shape it. So I'm going to go ahead and move over to my pressure flaking pad that has seen better days. And just run some nice little thinning flakes. So like I said, I like to grab the top of the platform, push in and down. Just be careful, watch your technique. You don't want to cut yourself. I am running some thinning flakes. You guys can see them right here. There we go. All right, let's sharpen our tools. I'm always curious too what everybody's working on. I do like to see your guys' points and your guys' progress. So go ahead and message me, and maybe we could get some pictures on my channel, maybe like a subscriber update video where we'll look at what our subscribers have done too, and the points that they've made. It'd be kind of cool to show either images or something on the channel. Yeah, it's a lot easier to grab on right now after cleaning it up and sharpening the tool. I used to use a file, and then I started using the corner of this lightly, and it's been doing a pretty good job of abrading. Saves me that extra step, I think, initially right now. I don't have to reach for the file. I'm still choosing the low spots, so that's always like a big important part of flint knapping. You know, your little platforms. If I come in at the corner, I think I want to come in at the side, so I still have to bring this down slightly. I think how you brace your point too is important. Like, don't over press the point. I think that'll cause a snap just from thinking about it. So I'm trying not to. That flake went about 4 feet. Safety glasses are important. Getting closer, getting closer. Now I could just take this off really quickly and bring it down, but I'm trying to thin it as I come in, and it is working out and it's helping me out. You know, so the thinner it is when you're notching, I'm assuming is better. See, I almost applied pressure here. I'm glad I didn't. Alright, we're getting so close. Let's go ahead and take our little leather pad here. I call it like a cleanup pad. And so my goal here is to straighten this out. We're almost straight across. You guys can see that. Almost straight across. We're getting close. So I'm going to use, so this leather pad has it's a little bit taller on this side than this side, so I like to use this, and I could actually still run some small flakes if I can set it up right. There we go. Trying to get this corner a little bit up more. It's a little low just as far as the symmetry goes. And see how we got to point this off too. Let's see. Okay. That comes in slightly, so we got to make the other side come in slightly also. There we go. You guys can see that. And now we just got to center this up. So I'm just going to center up this center line in the back so you guys can see that. It goes a little low here. We got to knock some of this off here. so close, everybody, so close. These are just very small flakes, just to center that up. Very small flakes. Now overall, it's not as big as I would have liked. It's still pretty nice. It's not a bad little piece. Got a small little arrowhead point. We're gonna do some minor notching on the side just so I can get a wire tool through it. So let's go ahead and switch over to notching. All right, here we go. We're gonna be notching this. We're gonna pick. So if you guys can see this tip of this, I'm gonna want to bring in a notches just about to that far on either side. So we're gonna give it a go. And so I have this, I sharpened, I turn it sideways to the thin area. And then I kind of lightly abrade it. And I turn it. Pop it. Pop one side of it also, I think. Turn it. So I go to do the same thing. Pop it, kind of lightly abrade it. Popped it again. Lightly abrade it. Trying to find a spot to hear that sound. So if you guys can see that, a nice little notch on the side. I'll go deeper if I can. We'll see. There we go. All right, there's one notch down. You guys can see that right there. We're gonna do the other side. Popped it, turn it over, do the same. I left myself some room on each side. If I stall out, I can go here. Try to make them match. just like that. I'm not the best notcher in the world. I'm trying my best. So this one's kind of stalling out on me. I'm trying to think of how I can possibly go about it. All right, let's see if I can extend this one somehow. So I'm just trying to see if I can grab onto anything. A little bit there. All right. So here we go, we have one there. Couldn't go over as far, but overall it's not terrible. So I'm just going to clean it up a little bit here and there, refine the shape, and then we'll call it a day. Be careful not to press too far on the back. All right, I think we're going to call it quits. So here we have it. Let's get you guys a better background. So here we have a nice little point. Turn into a piece of jewelry. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and thank you guys for all your support, and have a good day.